Welcome to After the Buzzer Sports Podcast, the sports podcast that's all about sports and the real issues. We've got an incredible show in store for you today. And don't forget, you can give us a call at 803 570 5031. That's 803 570 5031. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on those notifications so you'll know whenever we go live. Let's go.
What's up, guys? Happy Saturday. Welcome to another edition of After the Buzzer Sports Podcast. I'm your man, Marvin Orange, with Lee Jones, and it's good to see Miss Raquel M.R. Thomas back with us on a Saturday. It's good to see you. How you doing?
I'm good. I can't complain.
Okay.
Same old.
Okay. You know, she's off handling all her many endeavors, but glad that she was able to join us back in today for our regular show. So we got a great show today, guys. I'm really looking forward to. We have a really good interview with Mr. Jordan Lyons. Played at Furman, one of the great scorers from Furman University. He signed a professional contract, so we're looking forward to really having an interview with him and talk about some of his endeavors and what he's looking forward to do. And we got some great topics, so let's just kind of jump into what we got on store today. The NBA season restarted with 2 games, New Orleans and Utah. Or am I with the wrong?
You good.
I'm good. With LA and the Clippers, what are your thoughts about the games and the presentation, the telecast of the NBA? Tell us what you guys think about that. The NBA playoff format, unfair to Memphis Grizzlies, who are currently in the 8th spot. Do you guys think it's unfair for them with what they've done during the regular season? Or do you guys think it's a good way for them to kind of structure the playoffs moving forward? Philadelphia 76ers, Ben Simmons, he's moving the power forward. Do you think this is going to be a good shakeup for the 76ers? Do you think this is going to improve their playoff and title chances? Let us know what you guys think about that. The NFL Network, top 100 players in the NFL poll and rated NFL players. Patrick Mahomes was ranked number 4. Okay, Raquel. Aaron Donald was ranked there. We got Russell Wilson, and of course, number 1. And I know my 2 colleagues right here love to hear this. Lamar Jackson is the best player right now rated in the NFL. That's a hot topic for me. I know for some of the other guys out there. So tell us what you guys think, call in and tell us what you think about that. Antonio Brown, again in the news, suspended 8 games by the NFL. I think we all kind of knew this was coming for violating the NFL personal conduct policy. I see you shaking your head, Raquel. I'm with you on this one. Is the suspension fair? Will any team sign him after the suspension? I got some thoughts about that too. Pac-12, the players threaten to boycott the 2020 season if their demands are not met. 50-50 revenue share, 6 years insurance upon graduation, better COVID-19 testing protocols. Do you think the players are going to get this deal done? Do you think this is something good for the Pac-12? Weigh in on this and tell us what you guys think. Will the college football season be delayed? And if so, will it lead to a mass exodus of elite college talent to the NFL? I got some strong opinions about that. I think Raquel probably does too. Tell us what you guys think. And several of the Power 5 conferences have announced their scheduling plans for the 2020 season, which includes only conference games. I think a lot of USC and Clemson fans are pretty sad about the outcome of that. So tell us what your thoughts are about that. Do you guys still think this college football season is worth having? Let's weigh in on that. Again, 803-570-5031. Weigh in, tell us what you guys think. Let's jump into it. Raquel, I'm going to let you go first since we missed you on Wednesday.
Hey, I miss you a great deal, Raquel, by the way. I'm so happy that you're back. I'll tell you that right there. It just wasn't the same.
I miss you guys too. And let me tell you, the whole time that I was in my consultation, I was peeping at my phone and it's like, this is not okay. But I miss you guys too. And it certainly, I would have rather been here with you guys. I'm going to start with the Clippers and the Lakers because,
how did I know that?
My guys on that team. And I'll say this, I had moments in the game where I thought we weren't going to pull it off. Then I was frustrated. I felt a lot of emotions, I'll say that, during the Lakers and Clippers game. But the one thing that I saw was, LeBron got off to a really slow start offensively. And I was curious if that was a game plan to see what everyone else could do and what their ability was, or if he just got off to a slow start. But obviously he came back and made all the difference in the game on the defensive end of the court and obviously the offensive end of the court. 16 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. The assists and the rebounds make sense. That's who he is. We knew that was coming, but I was expecting at least 25 points. I did think Anthony Davis would get out of the gate and be the lead scorer, especially early on. I think that's going to be important to get him going and to build all the confidence in the world he's going to need, because we know LeBron's going to show up in the playoffs. That's not a question. So I was happy with Anthony Davis' performance. He had 8 rebounds, 4 assists. I still feel like we need more from the bench. The Clippers, I'm just not afraid of the Clippers in the playoffs. I know how you feel about them, Marv. I'm just not afraid of them in the playoffs. I think we had not the best game. The Lakers did not play their best basketball the other night and still pull the win off, and without LeBron scoring. That's positive for us. New Orleans, Utah. I don't, either of those teams don't really make a difference to me, one way or another. I hope they have fun. I think it's great for the fans, especially for those New Orleans fans. It's great for them. But for me, it doesn't matter one way or another with Utah or New Orleans. But I'll say this, both games were really close. And I felt like the guys looked a little lazy. It definitely gave me the AAU feel. It did not look like professional basketball. I didn't like the look of the game. It looked like high school basketball, AAU basketball, but I mean, it is what it is. They're going to keep playing. They're not going to not play. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm with you with the feel of the game. I think it might just be something we're gonna have to get used to, because the fans bring a lot of energy to the game, so it's something that we didn't have. I'm sure we'll get used to it, but I did want to kind of start with the presentation before the game started. I thought that the NBA did an excellent job.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that Black players standing next to white players, Black coaches interlocking hands with white coaches, everyone was uniformed in terms of everyone was kneeling. I think the NBA sent a pretty strong message. It played well on television. The optics played really well to me. And I think that it was a moment that the NBA let everyone know where they stood as a league. So I thought they did a wonderful job in the opening night in terms of putting the message out there and what they stood for. Now, let me get to the game. All right, I'm gonna start with the Lakers first, because I know y'all some Laker lovers. Now, the Lakers looked good. The Lakers came out like it was a playoff game. Let's make no mistake about it. LeBron set the tone. But listen, you had JaVale McGee scored like 6 points in the first 5 minutes of the game. That's fool's gold. Okay. You had AD doing his thing, which I love. But remember, y'all got to remember something that's very, very important. And a lot of people don't like to hear this. Montrezl Harrell didn't play in this game, right? No, listen. Let's see. I'm gonna give a different perspective for you. You gotta force AD to have to play both ends of the floor. He's a high energy guy. From free throw line to free throw line, he runs the court better than anybody in the NBA, and he is a problem. You got to know where he is. They lost 38 points between him and Lou Williams in that game. I mean, come on, that's a big deal. All right, the Lakers, you got Dion Waiters spinning in the lane, doing no looks to. If y'all relying on that in the playoffs, I feel so good right now, because we know the book on Dion Waiters. We know the book on J.R. Smith. We've been seeing it for 6. It's not like J.R. Smith been in the league for 6 years. He's been in for 16. We know the book on J.R. Smith. Okay, so pump your brakes, LA fans. Y'all had a good first night. Yes, LeBron didn't shoot the ball well. I actually think the Lakers would be better if LeBron doesn't have high volume shots, because he gets the guys more involved. You got some shooters that can, Danny Green can get hot, some other guys. So I like it when he is the facilitator. I think the Lakers are better when he does that. But again, I think the Lakers actually played pretty well, considering everything that was going on. So I'm not sold on it. I'm still good with my Clippers. I still think they'll be there at the end. But I watched another team the other night, and I'm scared for everybody in the league. And I'm like, we ain't gonna talk about it right now.
You can talk about it, because it's true. It's the truth.
Man, look, I don't know if anybody can play with Milwaukee. I'm gonna just be honest with you.
Yeah.
Milwaukee
look good.
They look. They got all the pieces, man. And I know it's early, so I can't use it like, I'm going to say this early for the Lakers. It's early for Milwaukee, but damn, they look the part right now. I'm just gonna say it. So moving on to the Utah New Orleans game, and I said this. Look, New Orleans, I love the young talent. Man, they got to do something about Lonzo Ball at the point. I mean, look, I know a lot of people love Lonzo Ball for whatever, but the hype machine is real. Like, seriously, the second pick will keep you in the NBA. He can't hit an open jumper. He's a liability on defense. You know, don't let the stats fool you, because sometimes stats can be deceiving. And with him, it really is. You don't lead that team well. You got a lot of young talent around him. You need too much young talent. The Brandon Ingram kid is looking really good right now. You've got Zion. You got some good young talent there. Lonzo Ball just isn't the guy to get them to the next level, in my opinion. So
I agree with that.
Yeah, but I love New Orleans. I think they're going in the right direction. They just need to tweak some things. Utah is Utah. You know, you got pretty much Conley's a steadying force for Utah. But it was sloppy. The game was real sloppy. A lot of turnovers is what I expected early on in the NBA season. But you know, Milwaukee just sticks out of my head right now talking about these teams and what I've watched. They got every piece to make it difficult for people to deal with them. So that's kind of where I am with the restart of the NBA season.
Yeah, the Bucks look good.
Yeah. Mark, the one thing about Milwaukee last night is Giannis got all of his points in the paint, right? I mean, damn near all of his points in the paint. Where I want to see a bigger team with bigger bodies that can force him outside. Toronto comes to mind, right? Yeah. That'll force him to shoot jump shots. And if he can consistently make those jump shots, to me, is where Milwaukee, the story will be told on Milwaukee. Yeah. But if he gets it in the post or they're pushing it on the break, you forget it. You forget it. I mean, you can just forget it. So that's my thing on Milwaukee. The Lakers, I've said it all along. As Anthony Davis go, the Lakers are going to go. It's just, to me, it's really as simple as that. LeBron is good. The thing for Marvin, and chime in on this for me, I don't like it when LeBron is the point guard per se. I like it when he plays point forward and has another ball handler on the court with him. Like, so when Rondo gets back, I think the Lakers will be much better because Rondo can facilitate. LeBron is an excellent passer off the ball, but he's not an excellent dribbler, Mar. He's not. He's not an excellent dribbler, handler of the ball. He fumbles it a lot. Mm-hmm. So initial facilitation, I think when they kick it to him and he has that room, a little space, he's great and makes great passes. But when he facilitates, he fumbles it way too much for me. But I did like Dion Waiters. That was impressive. You could talk about Dion Waiters.
That was impressive. That's one game.
Caruso played extremely well, Marv, and that's a wild card for me. So I like what the Lakers did. Kuzma came off the bench and was stroking it. He shoots a little bit too much. He shoots every time he gets the ball. They'll have to table that a little bit. But I like what the Lakers are doing. But so goes Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis to me is the biggest matchup problem in the entire Western Conference, right? And so as long as the Lakers run their action through Anthony Davis, good things are going to happen, and they're going to progress, in my opinion, Marv. That's what I see today. The Clippers, real quick. Go ahead. What you want?
The Lakers fans, I know y'all all know Kyle Kuzma is not a reliable third option. I know that y'all know that. So let's not. But I will say one thing. That LeBron AD pick and roll game.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful thing.
That thing is
beautiful.
That's a problem. That's a problem for people.
The Clippers ain't big enough for me to stop Anthony Davis.
They are too small for him.
Montrezl Harrell can't. Joakim Noah, he's past his prime.
He's done.
So that's the problem. That's the matchup. But this is what I'll say about the Clippers. The Clippers are always going to be a problem for people because Kawhi is so efficient.
Yeah,
Kawhi is so efficient. And Paul George is just as streaky as anybody I've ever seen. I just don't have confidence in Paul George. Paul George fades a little bit too much. He went off late in the game, but then he faded. So, so that's my deal on the Clippers. We talked about this earlier, but the problem's going to be if Portland gets in that A spot and they play the Lakers. Portland will give the Lakers all they want if they're healthy in that 8 spot. So the Lakers better hope Memphis is that number 8 seed or New Orleans. I know the league wants New Orleans because they want Zion, but they better hope that it's not Portland. Portland caused some problems for some people.
No,
If they get in, they're going to cause some problems. I said that before. They're going to cause some problems. Last thing I'll say, and I know we have to move on, Marv. Alvin Gentry. And I know that Zion was supposedly on a minutes count. I don't give a damn about no minute count. You tired? Put Zion back in the game. I'll deal with them after the season. They need wins, Marv. They need wins.
They need wins.
And so that you know, sitting him for the last 7 minutes of the game, you were up by 4 when he left. The man's 19 years old, Marv. He's not hurt.
He's not hurt.
Why is he on a minute restriction? It just doesn't sit well with me.
They babying the hell out of Zion right now.
Yeah,
we can all see it.
It's over the top. So that's my thing. I love it. Last thing for me, the presentation. I enjoyed the presentation. Certainly you hit it. I don't need to hit it again as far as what they did. Tremendous by the NBA. I give them high marks. But the game to me was good. Once the players get in their flow, I'm looking at the game anyway. I could care less about the fans. So I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed the extra camera angles that gave you the floor view. So I think it was good, and I think it's only going to get better. So I enjoyed the opening, and I'm glad it's back.
Well, and that's a good segue in talking about Memphis. Do you think the NBA play-at format is unfair to them? They're currently in the 8th spot of the Western Conference. I think they gotta end the season up as about 3 games, or they got 4 games to be able to hold on to that spot. Do you guys think that's unfair to Memphis, considering all that they've done during the season up to this point?
Absolutely, Mar. Absolutely. You know, absolutely is unfair. You should have just. What they should have did is, I think they had 12 games of just play the last 12 games and let the chips fall where they may. But this is about getting Zion in the playoffs. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
Because people want to see Zion. So they put this in there. They didn't do it in the East because it ain't even So this is about getting Zion in there. And also, if Zion can get the Dame Lillard and that Portland team is a viable second option, this is all that's about. It's certainly unfair to Memphis, but hell, the NBA said, who gives a damn? I guess that's all I.
Raquel, what you think?
You know what, I was reading and looking at some of the footage from Morant, and I think he has the right attitude about it. It gives them the extra trip on their shoulder. Mm-hmm. I think that. If you've played basketball, you know how that goes. If you go in with a slight chip, Michael Jordan talked about it all the time in The Last Dance, how he would create these things in his brain just to get that mental edge. I think it could be a great thing for Memphis overall, because now they have something to prove. Now they are like, you know what, NBA, I get it. You want Zion. We understand. We understand, but we're going to do the job. So I think it actually works in their advantage from a mental standpoint. I think the NBA was unfair. Absolutely. But you know what? They're paying bills over there.
Yeah.
They got a lot riding on it from a financial standpoint. And they're thinking about the bottom line more than anything else. So I'm going to agree with the comments that Morant has made about, you know what, we got to play. It gives us the extra chip. It gives us more, fuel to the fire that we already have. So I think it really is going to work to their advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Mark, they're getting them L's, though. It ain't working because they're getting them L's. And they're not at the stage where they can turn it on like the Bulls could. So it's going to hurt them.
No, do I think it's unfair? Absolutely. I think Raquel hit it on the head. But this isn't about fair. This is about ratings. It's about bottom line. It's about business. And like you said, Lee, in the East, nobody cares. I mean, the East is the East. It is what it is. But you got a Portland team that can make some noise, that can make it interesting. And Zion, LeBron is box office. Let's just be real about it. So that's what this is about. But look, Memphis, they're in a position to control their own destiny. They can go out and win basketball games and put all this to rest. But I don't think that as a fan, I know what I'm going to get against, with the Lakers, Memphis. I'm going to get a sweep. That's probably what I'm going to get. So, but I know if Portland's in that spot, or I know if New Orleans in that spot, I'm going to watch because it could get interesting. Mm-hmm. Now, New Orleans can't beat LA, but you got a lot of little, stories in there too with Lonzo Ball and some of the guys being traded from the Lakers, all the things of those sub stories you got. So we know what the NBA is doing. So it's good for TV. Yeah, it's good for TV. But Memphis win basketball games. But you saw last night with Portland and Memphis game. I mean, you see what you're going to get. Portland is dangerous, though, Lee. I said they got some scoring. They got some guys that can be a problem. Yeah. And they healthy. So so it'll be interesting to watch it play out. So, but moving on with the NBA, we got Ben Simmons. They're moving him to power forward for the 76ers, hoping that can shake up the lineup and maybe help them advance to the NBA Finals. Do you guys think this is a good move by the coach? Is the timing off? And what do you guys think about this move right now?
I'll be quick on this one. I don't think it can hurt them, and I think they should have made this move a few years ago. I think it could help them. It certainly won't hurt. So for me, I think it's a smart move by the coach, but I think they should have done this a few years ago. And I think he's up for the task as well. So I think it will benefit the 76ers to move him.
You know what? I'm torn on this one. I think the timing sucks. I think it stinks. I think that, and Raquel, you know this playing basketball, NBA players are the best athletes in the world. Okay, let's make no mistake about it. But everything takes time. Okay, and this is not the time to experiment putting Ben Simmons at the power forward. Okay, all teams are going to do is, hey, you've been working on that jump shot. Prove that you can hit a 20-foot jump shot now. Because if you can't, all we're going to do is clog the lane, and we're going to make it real hard for Embiid to do anything that he wants to do, okay? But to me, this is more about a coach trying to save his job. That's what this is more about me with the guy in Philadelphia. This is about I need to do something to shake up, because if it don't work, all right, whatever. I tried to shake something up, but if it does work, it saves my job. I'm the smartest guy in the NBA. I've taken the 76ers to the next step. So I don't think he really has anything to lose. But one more point about this. I mean, remember, and we love LeBron, but remember when he went to Miami and how long it took them to gel together, him, D-Wade. It took them almost half a season to figure out how to play together, different positions, people having the ball. And I think this is going to kind of be what you see with Philly. Even though Ben Simmons is really more of a facilitator, I still think with what they're going to ask him to do as a power forward, it's going to take a long time for him to figure this out. And then putting him in COVID, they don't have much time to gel. The situation is crazy. I think this is a lose-lose for the 76ers at this time. I think it could work, but not right now.
Okay.
Well, Mark, they move him in and out of that role anyway, to be honest with you, because they put him around the basket, they post him. So he's had experience doing it already. So I don't think this is just a overall new position for him, to where that he has to come in and learn. He's played in that role before for them. Where I like it is the fact that I want the ball. Even though Ben Simmons has point guard skills, I want the ball in the hands of another point guard to accentuate his skills, running the court, right? Running the court, getting down the court, finishing at the rim. I want somebody else handling the ball, because when he brings the ball up court, it makes him drift outside and around the perimeter. He's better in the post. Now, you're right. How are they going to mesh him and Embiid down there? Yeah. That's the biggest thing.
And remember, Lee, that's the best part of his game. The best part of his game is having the ball going from free throw line to free throw line, creating mismatches. Once he gets going, you can't stop him from getting into the lane. I
agree with that. That's why I think, to that point, Marv, on the break and him getting the ball in transition, that's going to make him that much better. But at 6'10", and with his ball handling skill, there's not a power forward that can guard him, right? Especially if you ISO him, on the other side of the court, he's going to be eating them alive. My only problem is him and Embiid, but we know Embiid drifts around that three-point line a lot anyway. I like the move simply from the fact that I think if you want to get the best out of Ben Simmons for your team, I think he is a power forward. I know he has point guard skills. He can handle the ball. But I don't want him as my point guard. Give me another guard. Use him on the break. Use him down in the post. For me, how they rotate minutes and who's going to be on the court when Embiid goes out, and how they use him as far as minutes wise. So I would keep him in there with the second unit, Marv, and just pound it down low to Simmons and let him do his thing in the post, because he can do that, and we've seen it. So I think it's a good move for Philly. Does that make them equal to Milwaukee? No, but I think it's going to make it a little more interesting for Philly, because Philly's ultra talented. They're ultra. Tobias Harris had a good preseason, and he's stroking the ball. But so I think it makes him a little more interesting. I just don't think that they can challenge Milwaukee. Maybe Toronto, Mar. Maybe Toronto, but I don't think they can.
I'm buying this move if you still had JJ Redick.
I like that too.
Well, that
like
makes it a better, right?
like that too.
JJ has more value with him going
the
to
three-point
that
shooting
position.
and the spacing gives him more space. I agree with that. I agree with that.
It's gonna be nice in the transition when we see them run the floor.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the 76ers, they will be a problem, and there will be major adjustments that need to be made from other teams because you're not accustomed to guarding them this way. So I think it's gonna help them too. I'm with you.
Getting out on the break is scary, Mark. It's very, very scary. Hey, we got our special guest that just joined us, Mr. Jordan Lyons. What's up, Jordan?
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
What's happening? What's happening? Looking good? Looking good? What's happening, nephew?
Man, not much. How you living?
I'm well, man. I appreciate you joining us, man. I know you had a hectic schedule. You got your deal signed, and you're feeling good, looking good. I know you're ready to stroke it, but hey, I'm gonna introduce you to Miss Raquel Thomas. Marvin Owens, you got a lot in common with you, so we want to spend some time with you and just pick your brain about a lot of things. All right?
Yeah, I'm good with it. Let's do it.
Hey, I'm gonna kick it off. So look, I know that for me, I haven't seen you and seen you play and seen the skill set that you possess. I know that you have the skill set to make an NBA roster. What I want to ask you for our audience is, why now choose to go overseas when I think that you can make an NBA roster? Why the decision to go overseas now for you is the right decision?
I think, just with everything going on right now, just due to COVID and everything, just with the restart and, the 2020-2021 NBA season being pushed back until December, the draft got pushed back to October, and, we didn't have all the opportunities such as the summer league and all of that's normally in place. And with me just coming from a mid-major, I feel like I needed those opportunities. It's a little different for me as opposed to the guy who played at Kentucky or whatever. I just feel like those opportunities were something that I was really looking forward to and I really needed. And just for the season getting pushed back until December when international ball is starting on time, I didn't want to turn down a good opportunity and a guaranteed opportunity over there just to take the gamble of waiting until December and, potentially ending up in the G League or whatever. So I just thought, I just wanted to play it out from both ends, get feedback from teams here and over there, and just be in a good situation. I feel like my rookie year as a professional, it's very important to just be in a really good situation where I'm in a good franchise, a winning franchise, a franchise that is planning to utilize me in the right way. And, more importantly for me, I just wanted to play. I just honestly just didn't want to wait until December to be playing. Especially my rookie year, just getting adjusted to the professional game, getting adjusted to being a professional off the court and all of that. I just felt like if I had a really good opportunity now, which we came across, I just didn't want to pass it up and just to take the risk and take the gamble and, just pass up a for sure opportunity.
Right. So for the audience, and then I'll turn it over for you, Marv. Let the audience know what team that you're going to over in Europe.
Okay, I'm going to a team called BK Ogre. It's basketball club, Ogre, OGRE, and Ogre Latvia in northeastern Europe.
All right. Go ahead, Marv.
So you excited?
Oh yeah, very excited.
I wanted to congratulate you on signing a professional contract. That is a big deal. So
Thank you.
Congratulations for all your hard work, and it's paying off. So I did want to say that, and I did want to say a few things. 2020 first team All Southern Conference. I didn't know that, but what I really want to talk about was take me back to that game where you hit 15 threes in one game. Listen, I'm going there because I hit 7 in a game in the SEC tournaments, right? And to go 15, man, take me to that mindset. What was going on in that game? Because I just got to hear this. 15 in the game is crazy, man.
Appreciate it. That was a pretty surreal night. That's one I'll never forget for sure. What's crazy is like everyone asked me, like, I really went through my day the same, like my preparation, like, I have a very routine specific game day preparation, that I do every single game day. And like that was just one of the same routine preparation days. And then, I just kind of got into warm-ups and like an hour before. And like I was just shooting and I kind of like just found a stroke kind of like an hour before tip. And
you already knew it was on before, huh?
Yeah, like I could. It was just one
of
those, like, just as a shooter, I could feel it. Like I could just feel. I felt a rhythm already, like 60 minutes before tip. So, it kind of just once I found it, like I really, really just dialed in for the rest of that 60, just so I didn't lose it. Like I just wanted to keep that rhythm, like going into the game, and I was able to just keep it, just dial in and keep it. And then I came out, and I think before the first media timeout, so before the 16-minute mark, I was 3 for 3 from 3. So I knew like it was gonna be a day where like the rhythm was just there. And then, I had just phenomenal teammates and coaches who like they noticed I was in the rhythm. So they just dialed me. My teammates fed me and the staff was dialing me up. So like they just, I had a lot of respect for them just in the fact that, they noticed that rhythm early and like they just kept feeding me. And like even as the game kept going on, like I just kind of like the threes just kind of accumulated. Like there was no like envy or anything, like everything was just like, let's get them to it, and like I honestly didn't even know throughout the game, like I wasn't keeping track like of how many threes I made. Like I was focused on the game. Like I honestly had no idea. And then I think when I was at 12, we were in a timeout, and then like my head coach came in the huddle and was like, look, Jordan's like 3 away from the NCAA records. So like, let's really try and get it to him. Let's just keep trying to get it to him. And I had no idea I had 12 at the time. I guess I was just really focused in on the game. Nice. I wasn't even thinking about it. And then, so at that point I knew. So at that point I was keeping track after 12, I was trying to get it, end up tying it. But yeah, it was just a surreal night. That's like awesome, it was just one of those nights, just found some rhythm. And, I had great teammates and staff who just fed into it.
Well, Jordan, let me ask you real quick about, your endeavor that you're about to embark on. Who's over there right now? Any other American players on that roster? What have they told you that they expect from you as a player? Because I know when Americans go overseas, they bring you over to score. I mean, period, point blank. And I know that for you, you didn't play the point much in college. And I know that that's going to be an important thing for you to learn and develop as you play overseas. So what's kind of the goal they have for you over there? Have you guys talked about it? What's their plans for you? Who are the Americans you playing with? Kind of touch on that a little bit for us.
Yeah, they right now I'm the only American signee, but they're trying to sign one more. Okay. That's I think that's the last roster spot that we have to fill. Okay. I think they're trying to find an American big to fill the roster. But yeah, I was able to talk to the head coach on the phone before I agreed to sign with them. Okay. Like just while I was mulling different opportunities, and I was able to talk to him, and he had been in communication with my agent and such, but he was able to dive into a lot of my film and watch me quite a bit leading up to that phone call. And he was just saying how he loves my ability to score, and he loves my physique because I'm only 5'11", but I'm a pretty strong guard. So he really liked my physique and my physicality and how I'm short, but I like to play gritty. I like to embrace physicality, and their style is a style that really fits me. They play fast. Okay. They shoot a ton of threes. They led the league in 3-pointers made per game last year. They scored like 93 a game. So like the style really, really fits me. So he really has high expectations, but he was really telling me that he just wants me to come in and really be the leader. Like they've got, a couple guys on the Latvian national team, but they're older, they're veterans, like 29, 30, 32. So they're older, so they're real smart, but they don't play as much anymore because they're vets. They're kind of towards the end. They just want me to be that young spark, come in, be a leader, be a true combo guard. So when I talked to him, he was saying about 15 to 20 minutes a game at the 1.
Okay.
And then 15 to 20 minutes a game at the 2.
Good.
So kind of just splitting my minutes at the 1 and the 2 in a game, which for the longevity of my career, I think is phenomenal for me to get that experience in my first year. Just for the longevity of my career, the more I can be versatile and play point and the 2, like I feel like the more opportunities I'll be able to have, the longer I'll be able to play. So being able to get that opportunity in my first year, I think is really good for me. And I mean, they're bringing me in to score for sure. Like he said, you know, he's really gonna let me go. Like he's really gonna put the ball in my hands a lot and trust me to make plays. And you know, the shot clock is 24, so a lot of times when you don't get anything in transition, you know, you're getting to that 12, 11, 10 mark. So it's just a lot of quick pick and rolls. You know, get the ball to me, a lot of quick pick and rolls, and just trust me to make the right reads out of pick and rolls, whether it's scoring or finding teammates, roll skips, whatever it is, pops, whatever it is, just being patient on pick and rolls and really being able to see the floor. But that's something that I work on a ton. I came off a ton of pick and rolls in college. I can definitely improve on, but you can always improve. But I'm looking forward to the opportunity. Him and the general manager have a lot of high expectations for me, which is something that I wanted out of my first opportunity, to go somewhere that they're really gonna feature me and expect me to make plays. And I've had a couple of my teammates have reached out to me since I signed, and they're excited. They're expecting the same thing. They're expecting me to come in and make plays and be the guy for them. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to.
Awesome.
So Jordan, I have a question for you. You used the word greedy, and I think as we were chatting a little earlier, we kind of said, you know, he has a killer instinct. We know that you can score the ball. There's no question about that. You averaged 16 points your last 2 years at Furman. You kind of talked a little bit about what I'm going to ask in reference to running the 1 position. I remember being, you know, I was a point guard my entire career, and running the 1, it was imperative that I had to score 2. And that's just how it was, you know, 10, 15 years ago for girls basketball, point guards had to score. So how comfortable are you with running the point guard position? Because in college, you really didn't have the opportunity to do so. So going overseas and playing ball, you're going to have your coach is already committed to you having that 15 minutes shooting as 2 guard, 15 minutes as a 1 guard. How comfortable are you right now in your career with running the 1 with not having as much experience as I'm sure you wanted at the college level?
To be honest, I'm pretty comfortable with it. Just because, you know, I'm a scorer and a shooter at heart, but I'm very much team oriented. So I love to pass. Like I love to get my teammates involved. I truly believe in making the right play. So I think for me, I think the point is, you know, same mentality. Like don't forsake what I do. It's just a different position. You know, that's the only way I'm looking at it. Like, and this off season, you know, my agent's done a great job of talking to a lot of people and getting a lot of feedback. And that was all the feedback that we were getting, was that everyone wanted to see me play more 1, you know, only being 5'11". Like we know he can shoot, we know he can score. He can do that with the best of them. We want to see him play more 1. So this whole offseason, like all of my training has been pretty much point guard oriented. So it's been a ton of
bigger threat.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's you know, I'm a perimeter threat with the way I can stretch the floor and the way I can shoot and attack people off the bounce and get to spots. So this whole offseason has been just tighten up the handle, just a ton of pick and roll stuff, just being a little slower off pick and rolls, being a little more patient, just being able to make the reads and see the floor better. So it's something that I'm looking forward to. Like I think, you know, in college, the system that we ran, you know, kind of 1 through 3 were really kind of interchangeable. Just, you know, I didn't have the title of the 1, but within the half court, like I was coming off a ton of pick and rolls and hitting pull passes or hitting late rolls, or, you know, I was doing a ton of that. So I wasn't necessarily just bringing the ball up the court, but, you know, I was in situations throughout our system where I had the ball in my hands and I had to make the right play. And I think that's going into this professional stage. Like, it's just about making the right play, whether I'm at the 1, whether I'm at the 2, like just see the game, take what the game gives and just make the right play. And if that's to go score the ball, go score. If that's to come off and find the right teammate, let's find the right teammate. So I think for me, it might be a title difference, but I think for me, it's just going to come down to just focusing on just making the right play at all times and just doing whatever we can do, whatever I can do to help the organization win. And I think if I do that, like, I'll be fine, whether I'm at the point or the 2. So I'm pretty comfortable with it just because I'm a hooper and I like to hoop. And I like being in situations where, I got to figure things out. And I think this is a good thing for me in my first year to be able to get this experience that I may not have necessarily had as much of in the past, but I'm going to have to figure it out. And I think that's a good test for me as a rookie to be able to get that experience.
So Jordan, I have to say this. Me and your dad, I always make this quote to your dad that every time the ball leaves your hand, if I'm in the audience, I think that bad boy going in. So that's the
You and me
ultimate
both.
I can give you, and your dad knows, and your uncle knows. That's my philosophy on when I watch you play. Beautiful shot. I mean, the way you stroke it, that ball leaving your hand is a beautiful thing. I will say that you do have the ability, and I've seen you attack the basket. You're very physical, so I think the transition to the 1 and 2, I think you're gonna do perfect at it. I have one other question for you. Your jersey is going. It's probably at the Hall of Fame right now, isn't it?
I think we had to send it in either last week or the week before, so it should be up there now.
Talk to us about, one, how you feel about that, as far as, forever and ever now, you can go see it, your mom and dad can go see it, but your kids can go see it. Talk to us about what type of feeling you have about that when you know that you are part of basketball history, with your number being retired, being sent to the Hall of Fame for those 15 points.
Yeah, I think, that's pretty surreal. I think it's just a blessing. I think first, like, you just got to thank the Lord, just for the opportunity and just the gifts, that he gave me to be able to do that. But I think, for just the Hall of Fame to acknowledge it and be accepting of it, and for them to be willing and wanting to do that, like, I think that's just a true blessing. Like, it's kind of hard to put into words, like, it's just something that, I never would have imagined that, coming into Furman. Like, I never would have told anybody that when I left, my jersey would be going up in the Hall of Fame, up there. And I think it's just really cool. It's just a blessing that I know, one day, like, I will take my kids there, and like, I'll be able to show, my son if he has aspiring basketball dreams, like, it'll be able to be a personal story that, like, like, you can do this, like, if you put your mind to it, like, you can do it, son, like, it'll be something that I can give a personal belief, and he'll be able to, him or my daughter will be able to, like, see their daddy's jersey up there, and it'll give them personal belief that, daddy did it, like, why can't we? I think it means more to me, and I'm only 22, but it means more to me for that reason than for my own self. Right. Like, honestly, like, it means more to me for, generations to come, that they'll be able to see, daddy or grandpa or whatever did it. Like, why can't we? Like, it's more valuable to me in that sense than for my own personal satisfaction, just because that's just kind of how I am. I just like to inspire people, and I like to motivate people, and I like to show people they can be great. And for me to be able to have the opportunity to show people, in their own personal way, and, to give knowledge in that aspect, that means a lot to me. And I think it's just really special. Like, it's an honor. Like, I feel honored that they would do that. And I can't wait to go see it. I'm excited to see what the setup looks like, and I'm really excited to see it at some point.
I am too. Last question for me, Jordan. When you were coming out of high school, had a lot of offers, could have went to a Division I major program, but you chose to go mid-major route. For some of our parents out there, and maybe some of the kids that are out there and trying to decide where I'm going to go to school, talk to them about your thought process in choosing Furman to play basketball.
Yeah, for me, it was never, throughout my recruiting process, it was never about the name. And it was never about the name of the school. It was always about truly finding the right fit, because we see it every year. The transfer numbers are ridiculous every single year. And it's because a lot of people get caught up in the name and they end up going somewhere that doesn't fit. And now they're not enjoying their experience. They're not playing. They got promised something during the recruiting process that ended up being false. They're upset. Mom and dad are upset. Now everybody's in your ear. Now you're stressed. I didn't want any of that. So it was for me, it was all about just finding the right fit, finding somewhere where I felt like it was home, somewhere where I felt like I could succeed on and off the court, somewhere where off the court was going to prepare me for life, and on the court was going to allow me to get better every single day and achieve my dreams. And with Furman, it was just a phenomenal relationship. I was able to build a really good relationship with Coach Medved, who was the head coach at the time. He was the head coach my freshman year, and Coach Ritchie, who was the top assistant, who was the head coach my last 3 years. And just them two, throughout the recruiting process, just kept it real. They kept it real with me. They never promised me anything. The roster at the time, they were really young. Furman was no good when they were recruiting me. They were horrible. My junior year of high school was the year that they really picked up recruiting me. They won 8 games that year. They were abysmal. I think there was 353 teams in the country, and their RPI was like 340 something. Like, they were awful. And they made a magical run to the SoCon championship and was a possession away from going to the dance after winning 8 games. And they were playing a whole bunch of freshmen and sophomores. They were who ended up being my teammate, ended up being my upperclassmen. But they were super young. But what I'm saying is they were freshmen and sophomores at the time. So by the time I got there, they were only juniors. So they had been starting for 3 years. So I knew like I was going to have to go somewhere, and like I knew I was going to have to work there. And that's really what I wanted. Like, I didn't want to go somewhere where as soon as I got there, like stuff was going to be being handed to me. Like, I didn't want to go somewhere where I could just walk in and just start right away because they needed that bad. Like, I wanted to go somewhere where I knew I was going to have to work, and I knew that I was going to be around players and coaches that were going to push me. And I knew if I didn't do it, like, I wouldn't play. And that's what I wanted. Like, I knew in the long run, like, that's what was going to help me grow year in and year out. And that's what was going to help get me better, was going to a situation where I was going to have to work. I was going to get pushed. And like my freshman year, the guy who started in front of me won player of the year as a junior in the league, So like I was going against him every single day, and like, so like that was great for me. Like, some days I was getting torched by him in practice. Like, as a freshman, he's a junior, like, player of the year, I'm getting torched. But like, that was phenomenal for me. Like, as a young buck, like having to go against Sib every day and like getting pushed and like realizing that, like, dude, like, you're not like that right now. Like, you have to come in every single day and like, you have to get better, bro. Like, like, there's no room for any type of complacency from you. Like, you have so much more to tap into. And that was just really good for me. And then aside from the basketball, like the academics at Furman are just really good. Like, it's a very, very, very good academic school. I knew, I can only bounce the ball for so long.
There you go.
And so I knew that degree, is gonna, one, it's something, no one can take, and I knew that's something that will definitely play in my favor. Just having that powerful, prestigious degree. And that was good for me too. Just, being in that prestigious university, I knew that it was going to really force me to prioritize. It was really going to force me to grow and into being a man, just from balancing the athletics and the tough academics. And that's something that really helped me just get to where I am now. So the main thing is just relationships with the players and the coaches, academics, and just the opportunity. I knew, they didn't promise me anything, but all they promised me was an opportunity to come in and improve myself. And that's all I really wanted. And
Absolutely.
took the opportunity and ran with it.
Bob, you have anything
You got
else?
time for one more question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jordan, it's pretty obvious. I mean, you're an impressive young man. I haven't met you before, but just talking to you right now, I know you're going to do well in no matter what you decide to do. And my thought would be play this game as long as you can play it and you can make some money from it, because you got plenty of time to do all the other stuff. But I do want to ask you, or maybe just share with maybe parents that could be listening or young basketball players, because you are now a professional basketball player. You worked your butt off to get to this point. What kind of sacrifice has it taken for you to get here? What have you done and personally sacrificed to be someone that can make 15 threes in a game on the collegiate level? Because I know how hard that is. That's not easy. And to get to a point where you can sign a professional contract, what are the sacrifices that you've made to get to this point?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a ton of them. Like it really just comes down to, how bad do you really want it? Like there's a lot of people who fall in love with the idea of being a professional, but like don't fall in love with everything that entails.
That's right.
And the idea is great. When you think about whatever it is, playing for the Mavs or whatever, like that is always going to make you feel good when you think about it. But what are you doing the 7 days of the week to put yourself in that arena or whatever, So it really just comes down to the fact that, one, you have to have a lot of humility. Like you have to know that there's always people out there better than you.
Yep.
Like there are multiple players better than you, and there's multiple players that are working harder than you. Like you have to have the humility to know that and understand that and let that push you.
Yeah.
Like if you understand that, then like you won't settle.
Yeah.
Because that you're chasing, like you want to be the best, right? So like if you know and understand that there's just always people better than you and there's always people working harder than you, like that's gonna drive you to a different level, because like you can't be okay with that. Like you know it, but like you're not. That doesn't mean you're okay with it.
Right.
So you just do whatever you can to get to that level.
Right.
And I mean, there's gonna be things that your friends do that you're not gonna be able to do. Like they're gonna want to go out all the time, but like you need to go to the gym, or you just need to sleep.
That's
Need to get your sleep so the next day you can perform. Or you need to go get some work done. Like there's things that you're gonna have to give up. That other people around you won't, or don't have a care to give up. But their dreams might be different than yours. So you just have to know what you want. It's a personal thing. You just have to know what you want in life, and just know that whatever it is, it's not going to come easy. Whatever profession you choose, like it's not going to come easy. So, I mean, you have to work day in and day out to become the best. Like if you don't have the drive to be the best at what you do, in my opinion, what are you doing it for? Like you should always strive to be the best at what you do. And that's in anything you choose to do. And just know that there's always people out there that are better and always people that are working harder. And you just got to use that to push you. And that you got to use that to really, really drive you. And it's all about falling in love with the process. Like whatever the process entails, which is multiple things for an athlete, diet, nutrition, sleep, doing extra in the gym, not just coming for scheduled workouts or practices, but coming extra, like doing above what's average.
How many shots a day you put up?
It depends. Normally at least probably 400 to 500 at
Yeah.
least. But over the summer, so like during June and July every summer, I would make 30,000 threes
There
in
it
2
is.
months.
Yep.
So every June and July, I would be at school and I would make 30,000. So I was shooting a lot more, but I would make at least 30K of it.
Wow.
Go ahead,
Wow.
nephew. Hey,
Wow.
we got to wrap it up, Jordan. But I said I was going to give you a little time because we talked last week.
Man,
You got upset because Marvin, we was
This is the Indianapolis thing, right?
yeah,
yeah,
man.
we was
I was a
previewing
little upset at
the
this.
South, the AFC South, I believe.
I was
Nephew
upset at
called
this.
and said, "Well, what about the Indianapolis coach?" So I told him, I said, "I'm gonna give you a few minutes, hey, to tell us why the coach is gonna win the South as opposed to who we saying." So, hey, these last minute and a half is all yours, nephew. Tell me what you're talking about.
Stake your claim, brother.
You know, y'all know, man. I'm a big Colts fan. Lived in Indiana for 8.5 years. But look, man, y'all had a third majority, and I just look. It's clear Jacksonville's at the bottom. But look, man, Tennessee. One, I'm not a believer in Tannehill, and like everyone was talking about Tanny and DH, which I get. DH is a monster. But no one was talking about they lost All-Pro Jarrell Casey. He's in Denver.
Okay.
They lost.
All right.
They lost NFL top 100 corner Logan Ryan,
Yeah.
They did.
phenomenal corner. Like I'm just not believing in them. In Houston, they lost D-Hop. Yes, they picked up, but y'all were right. Injury prone. Their whole offense is injury prone, and they have one of the worst O-lines in football. Deshaun Watson can't even sit in the pocket for 5 seconds.
Nephew, but you ain't said nothing about Phillip Rivers yet.
I'm getting there, and then you talk about us.
So talk about Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers had arguably one of the worst O-lines in football out there with the Chargers. He's 37. He's not trying to get nailed in the pocket anymore. He's going from one of the worst to arguably the best. Indy has a top 3 O-line in the league.
You're definitely right about that.
So he's going to have time. And now we've got 1,000-yard rusher Marlon Mack, and we just drafted statistically the best running back in college football history in 3 years. We did it in 3 years. We picked up Jonathan Taylor, and we got Marlon Mack. We've got T.Y. We picked up Trey Burton, tight end, along with Jack Doyle, top 3 O-line.
Yeah.
T.Y., Harris Campbell was hurt.
Michael Pittman was a good pickup. But let me
we picked up DeForest Buckner on the interior
D-line. You're right. They did.
Darius Leonard, come on, man.
I slighted you, and I said, man, why is he infatuated? I forgot y'all lived in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
So that was my fault.
And last year we went 7-9, right? And Brissett was out 3-4 games. We were starting Brian Hoyer 3-4 games.
Hey,
we went 7-9, man. We would have made the playoffs.
Raquel,
he said he would have made the playoffs.
We would have made the playoffs.
We would have made the playoffs.
Hey,
this year, mark my words, Indy wins the AFC South. I'm telling you.
He made some valid points.
I'm telling you.
Hey, good analysis. I believe you. I just don't trust Phillip Rivers. But let me say this. I appreciate you coming on, man. Much love for you. Much love for you. And when you get over there and you get settled, hit us back up and tell us how your experiences are going over there, man. I know you're going to do well because I've seen you grow as a young man, and I know you're a special young kid. So Godspeed to you. We love you. We appreciate you coming on the show, man. And much love, and I thank you for spending a little time with us. Okay.
And Jordan, let that ball take you as far as it can go. Enjoy your time. Enjoy the culture. Enjoy all the things that you're going to learn and see while you're over there. You're young. Take your time. You know, life is going nowhere. And you almost got me ready to suit my fat butt up and put some tennis shoes on. I might be able to give you 2 or 3 good minutes. I can still knock down some jumpers, so I might be able to give you 2 or 3 good minutes.
If you shot ready, man, I'll feed you.
I'm shot ready.
I trust the jumper, man.
And Jordan, if you ever want to talk to somebody, Marv is an excellent resource to reach out. And I'll hook you up with his phone number, just if you want to throw some things off of, because he has a lot of knowledge. He played overseas, so I'll definitely hook y'all up. Okay.
Yeah, please do that. Appreciate y'all having me on, man. Thank you,
young brother.
And Jordan, And Jordan, before you go, we do have a comment from YouTube that I really would like you to hear. It says,
Okay.
congrats, Jordan. You have no idea how proud guys like me who grew up with your dad, uncle, and actually the whole of your Arkansas family. Very proud of you, young man. Go get him, bruh. And that's from Sammy Campbell.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
Jordan.
that.
Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate you, bro. Well, I'll talk
Yes,
to you
sir.
soon. All right?
All right.
Take care.
All right, y'all. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Very good.
Interview, man.
Yeah.
Good
Well
stuff.
spoken young man. He know what he needs to do.
Yep.
Yeah. He's been taught well. So I guess I might have to be streaming some Euro League, Latvian League basketball and kind of check them out. So let's keep it moving though. Very good interview, but we're gonna move on to the NFL since we kind of talked about it a little bit.
And Mark,
The
that
NFL
people, I know there was a couple of callers that we free for call in now. So
Yeah.
if y'all want to comment about anything, go ahead and hit us up.
Yeah, anything that we've talked about up to this point, you can call us 803-570-5031. Let us know what you think, even about maybe the interview that we just had. But the NFL Network put out its top 100 players. We got Patrick Mahomes, we got Aaron Donald, we got Russell Wilson, we got Lamar Jackson. What are your thoughts about this poll? Well, they got Lamar Jackson at number one. Let me make sure I say that. What do you guys think about this poll? Did they get it right? Did we missing somebody? Raquel, what you think? I know.
Kick us off, Raquel. Kick us off.
So we have been saying this to you, Mar, for 4 weeks. We've had this conversation 4 weeks in a row, and we've given you stats. Yes, the people who get paid the big bucks have given us a ranking that is pretty accurate. I like Patrick Mahomes at number 4. Aaron Donald, maybe something different, but Russell I like the top 4. I think they did a good job, and I mean, I think I'll be running myself in a hole to go over Jackson's stats again. He is my guy. I think he's the number 1 quarterback in the league. I think he's going to be super scary this coming season. And if they get one more receiver, I think it's lights out.
Well, let me make this clear, okay?
Make it clear.
Now they said they put a poll out for the top 100 players, right? They didn't put a poll out for the top quarterbacks. We know Patrick Mahomes. We know Patrick Mahomes is the top quarterback in the NFL. Okay, we know this. All right. Now, if you asking me box office player, sure, I'm gonna give you Lamar Jackson. But they said player. They didn't say quarterback. My quarterback list will be completely different, right?
Is he not a quarterback? Is Patrick Mahomes not a quarterback?
He is, but top quarterbacks in the league different from top player.
Okay, so
we go ahead and get Lamar number
for
one.
you, Marv, Lamar Jackson is indeed the top player.
He's a top player in the league, no doubt about it.
But Mahomes is the top quarterback. So Mahomes is better than Russell.
Yes. He won the Super Bowl.
I mean, he throws a wonder. He will throw a wonder.
Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Lord,
Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl.
Lee,
Okay?
help our brother, Lee. Come on, Lee, help our brother.
I'm leaving.
Let him finish because he been preparing for this one all week. Go ahead.
No, I'm leaving Lamar. I'm with Lamar being number one. The only player that I would probably take out and replace, and Aaron Donald is a bad boy. Don't get me wrong. I think he a bad boy, but I'm putting Derrick Henry in the top 5. I gotta put DH in the top 5. How you not have him in the top 5 right now, man?
Whoa.
What he did to the league last year.
He's in the top 10, Marv.
I know. I was gonna say he's in the top 10.
He should be top 5. Aaron Donald's the year last year wasn't that great.
Donald is the best defensive player in football. Hands down. He's better than Khalil Mack. He's better than the Bosa boys. Aaron Donald is a beast and 2-time defensive player of the year. Marv, come on, man.
No,
see, this is what I talk about all the time. People can have their opinions. You know, Stephen A. Smith can have his opinion. Marcus Spears. So all of them can have it. They're media people. But this was a poll taken by the players in the NFL. These are the people that are playing against Lamar Jackson. and Patrick Mahomes and Russell. So these people that are the also-rans that played 7 or 8 years ago, they're more media than players now. The players voted. There's nothing wrong with Patrick Mahomes being number 4. I think it's about right. You can debate Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's a bad man. And the thing about it is when players play against Russell, they're scared of because Russell throws the best deep ball in football. He's so mobile and he brings fear. If Seattle hadn't have had Russell Wilson these last 4 or 5 years, they would be nothing. He makes play after play after play. That sort of differentiates him from Patrick Mahomes. Now, let me get to that bad man, Lamar Jackson. Come on, Mark. We said it all. The thing about Lamar is Lamar has done something that no other player in NFL history has ever done. Okay? You can talk about Patrick Mahomes throwing 50 touchdowns and throwing for 5,000 yards. That's been done before. But no player in NFL history has ever threw the ball for 3,200 yards and rushed for 1,200 yards.
And he 0-2 in the playoffs. And he threw, and in the most important game of the season, how many interceptions did he throw? He's 0-2 in the playoffs.
Intentionally.
We're talking about what his colleagues think about when they line up, when they
got to face him on that football field. Yeah. They have told you who is lost.
When they see Baltimore, we play against Baltimore. Oh shit, we got Lamar this week. What are we gonna do?
What we gonna do? How are we gonna play him? What's the strategy?
I talked to a friend of mine yesterday, and he was talking about Patrick Mahomes as well. This is what I said to him. There's no doubt about it. Throwing the football, Patrick Mahomes is great. He is great. But what you have to know with Lamar is Lamar can throw it. He threw for 33 touchdowns, but the fear of running puts the fear of God in everybody. And that package and that combination makes him the top player in the NFL. I love it because it validates what I've been saying, what Raquel has been saying. And Mark, you just got to stop the hate, man.
You are horrible right now.
Hate, man, it's pitiful.
Zero playoff wins. For all he does, he ain't winning the games that he needs to win. But he is the best player in the NFL. I'll give you that. He just has the best quarterback.
Playoff game, but we're talking about the best player as rated by his peers. Stop
Lamondre, did he just bring Dallas back into this mix?
But I will bring Dallas in. That I do feel that Dak Prescott will be the league MVP. I just want to throw that in there, by the way.
So let me say this. Let me say this. We've got a lot of chatter that's happening on YouTube right now.
Bring it in, Lamondre. Bring it in.
Well, here's the thing. Kevin Banks and Sandra Keaton agree with Marvin. And Sammy Campbell says, who's better than Mahomes? But then Sammy Campbell also says, please tell Mr. Lee Jones, I actually think Dak is getting a bad deal in Dallas. That's why the Cowboys stink.
First of all, Sammy Campbell, let me address you real quick. I don't worry about Dak. As you said, Stephen Jones said it this week, they're going to get the deal done with Dak. You guys, just because he didn't doesn't mean that he's not going to get a long-term deal. That's foolishness.
He guaranteed us. He gave us a guarantee
for the next 10 years. Kevin Banks and Miss Keaton, let me say this to you. Guys, stop thinking about all the hyperbole that you hear on TV about Patrick Mahomes being the best quarterback ever, and think about the fact that every defensive player in the league, if you ask them who are they afraid to play against, it won't be Patrick Mahomes. It'll be Lamar Jackson.
Well, as he lifts, as he hoists that, as that Brinks truck backs up to his house and he hoisting that Super Bowl trophy, y'all can have that respect. Y'all can have it.
Who is the reigning MVP? So it ain't Patrick Mahomes.
You gonna take the MVP?
Who is the reigning MVP?
You taking MVP over Super Bowl championship?
What I'm saying is the MVP is the best player in the league. Who's the reigning MVP? For all you people out there that are talking about Patrick Mahomes, who is the reigning MVP? And don't give me this crap about he missed 2 games because Lamar missed 1. Patrick Mahomes is a great player. I love him. Lamar Jackson is an alpha dog. I love that man. He's the best player in the NFL right now.
Okay.
I love it.
So going from talking about the best to possibly the worst. Let's go to Antonio Brown.
Oh my God.
He was suspended 8 games by the NFL for violating the NFL personal conduct policy. Is the suspension fair? Do you guys think that? And will any team even discuss signing Antonio Brown at this point? Raquel, what you think about this?
He's just a liability, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, he's just is it fair? Maybe not. I don't know. It doesn't matter if he would just be quiet. Just shut up. Just be quiet and play football. Like, and I don't want to take his voice away, but when you say something that makes sense. Say something where you have some people on your side and not everyone. He's a liability. And in all honesty, at this point, I would not want him in Baltimore. I think he would cause too many issues. And from an athletic standpoint, there's no doubt from an athletic standpoint, he would be, I think, a great fit. I think he would certainly add value to the Ravens. From an athletic standpoint, yes. But he is too much of a liability. Would he even make it through the season? Probably not. He just probably wouldn't make it through the season. He cannot. The guy's just a liability. And I mean, I would love to say, you know what, Baltimore, pick him up. It's going to be the best thing for us. But sometimes you need more than athleticism to win.
So
he could be a distraction in the locker room, a distraction on the field. It's just too much of a liability.
So let me ask you this, Lee. Your love for Lamar Jackson. You want Baltimore to pick him up, right? But just to speak on it, I think the NFL just put the final nail in the coffin for Antonio Brown. I think he's done.
Yeah.
I don't
that
think
hurt him in a major way.
Yeah, I don't think anybody messed with him. But let's take another perspective with this. Okay. With the climate that we have, COVID-19, all the stuff we got going on. NFL doesn't have a bubble, right? Nope. Are you trusting Antonio Brown during COVID-19 to do the right thing and to come in your locker room and not spread that virus through everybody in Baltimore? I mean, are you trusting Antonio Brown to be a model citizen outside of the facility and not bring that? Come on, man. These are different times. I don't trust him as far as I can see him. Ain't no way I would sign him. I wouldn't put Lamar Jackson nowhere near him. And if you do, you crazy.
Raquel, let me say this. Couple things real quick. Do I think that I had a long debate with one of my buddies, y'all, we were talking about Antonio Brown, and he had some great points, but they suspended him for violation of the personal conduct policy, right, Mar? Right, yep. Raquel?
Yeah.
What was he ever convicted of? Now, he was convicted of shoving the moving drivers and threatening them. So it does warrant a suspension under that policy. But the issues with the female, he hasn't been charged, convicted, whatever. They're trying to do a civil thing. So that's not proof that he did anything.
Well, wait a minute, Lee. Wait a minute, though. You can't have it that way. Because in one voice, you always talking about the NFL does what's best for the NFL and the shield and protecting the shield. The optics of what Antonio Brown did with the female, all the others, that's bad for business. That's bad for the shield. So you can't have it both. You can't have it both ways on this one.
I agree. Mom, it wants a suspension. Does it want an 8-game suspension?
If you put one bad apple in a group, it can ruin all the other apples. Yeah. We've been hearing that forever. The guy's just a liability.
There's nobody, Raquel, in my opinion, and it's been proved, there's nobody in the NFL that works harder than Antonio Brown.
It doesn't matter. It's not about him from an athletic standpoint.
Put in the work, that works hard, that leads in the locker room as far as from an athletic perspective. Now, Mark, I personally don't. Personally, I think the 8-game suspension will work in Baltimore's favor. You sign him for the remainder of the season. He can practice during training camp. You sign him. He misses the first 8 weeks. You slowly bring him back. So in week 9 or 10, he starts playing for you. That's an added addition to your team. Antonio Brown is going to sign with Baltimore, and he's going to be a great addition to the Ravens. And Raquel, You will thank me for this, Raquel. You and your son will thank me for this. And I'll just go ahead and say it right now. You're welcome, okay? I'll just go ahead and say it right now. You're welcome. It's going to be a good addition to the Ravens.
Take him in Dallas?
Well, we don't need him in Dallas.
But he's the best.
I'll take him though, Marv, but we don't need him in Dallas. We have the best receiving core in football, so we don't need him.
All right, we spent too much time on Antonio Brown. Let's move on. We got the Pac-12, okay? Players have threatened to boycott the 2020 season if their demands are not met. 50-50 revenue share, 6 years of insurance upon graduation, better COVID-19 testing policies or protocols. Do you think the players are on to something here in the Pac-12, and do you think that these demands will be met? Lee, let's start us off with this.
Yeah, well, I've always said, for a while, Marv, I've talked about, I thought the college football players should unionize. I've always thought that. It's just right now, it's so late in the process for them to unionize. It's just not feasible. I do like the fact that they're putting out demands. 50-50 revenue split will never happen, okay?
Yeah,
you can forget that. You can forget that. But it is a good initial negotiating tool to put out there, right? Mm-hmm. So, 50-50 is never going to happen. The insurance 6 years after, they should have that anyway. That's this, Mark. Yeah. You play, they should have that anyway. And then the testing protocols, that definitely should happen. I'm gonna focus more on the revenue when I say that I think and Mr. Banks, Kevin Banks, I know you out there. We talked about this. I think that college players should be paid. I think, you roughly have 85 scholarships, Marv. And if you gave every player a $50,000 stipend for the year, your athletic budget takes a $4.25 million hit. Every major Power 5 conference can absorb that. So the notion that they're fighting for some revenue is great. Throwing out that 50-50 split makes headlines. I think this is the way to go to ultimately gain that momentum from other players around the country and get some revenue out of this deal. But I love what they're doing because it's time, and then maybe it'll end up with them unionizing next year or the year after that.
Yeah, I agree. Raquel?
Yeah, I agree. I think they have to get they should receive some type of revenue. 50-50, probably not, but certainly some type of revenue. I think it's a no-brainer with the 6-year insurance upon graduation. We should be doing it already. Yeah. These kids sacrifice so much, and they make so much money. And for us to not even have this in place already is a shame, in my opinion. And the COVID-19 testing, it's a no-brainer, guys. That shouldn't even be on the table because it should be done already. It shouldn't have to be a part of their conversation. I think the conversation really should be wrapped around the revenue piece. Everything else is a no-brainer, but they should be paid, no doubt. Insurance, no doubt. COVID testing, my God, yes.
Yeah, no. I think you guys both hit it on the head. Really nothing for me to add on that. I agree with both of you on what you said. So we'll see. We'll see what the NCAA does. And it will be interesting to see if the players actually force their hands and boycott. I mean, I'd be really interested to see where this kind of goes, but you guys said it well. So with the delayed college football season, will it lead to a mass exodus of talent? Will talent leave for the NFL if they do decide to delay the college football season? Lee, what do you think about that?
Depending on when they start, Mark, if they start in late September, early October, I think they won't leave. I think they can get a season in that'll run a little bit long up until December and still have the playoffs and stuff. So I don't think that will happen. But if there's ever a stoppage, let's say they start and then for whatever reason the virus causes them to stop, I don't think players will start back. And certainly if it's delayed to the spring, I think a lot of them are not going to play. Yeah. I think it's going to be a lot of especially the ones that are first rounders. I wouldn't play. I wouldn't advise my son to play. I would say just go out and start training for the draft. So I think it depends on when the season starts and if there's a delay and pick back up. I think you'll see that some of these players won't play. I know a couple of players have already said, college players, that they won't play. But yeah, I think it could happen, especially if they go to the springtime.
Yeah, I mean, college football or NCAA knows they got to start this season August. I mean, or early. They know for any chance for this to work, they got to start it then. everybody gonna leave if they start in the spring. We all know that. There's no benefit in them playing. Then if you think about somebody catches COVID, they got to be quarantined 14 days. Well, that's 2 or 3 games. I mean, come on, it doesn't even make sense. But I'm on the thought process of, are they even gonna have a season? You hear what the Big Ten is talking about? The Big
Yeah.
Ten is talking about not playing at all. And
I
it is
know
big.
Lee is not with that. So if you ask Lee, Lee's saying they're definitely playing.
I know he wants them to play, but it's not looking good.
Look, you're right, Marv. I mean, look, you haven't heard anything from your boys, the SEC, have you?
No.
So let me say this. If the Big Ten doesn't play, okay, that's fine. Let me tell you where football stops, in my opinion, Marv. It stops with the SEC. If the SEC says we're going to play, you know this, Marv, then you know what? It's the top of the line football. Every week they'll have a game of the week, then we're fine. So the Big Ten may not play, the Pac-10, or Pac-12 maybe having player strikes, but let me say this. Really, everybody just wants the SEC to play anyway. So yeah, it's up in the air. It's up in the air.
Yeah, if you don't have one of the Power 5 conferences playing, you can't have a season. I mean, how do you play the season, man?
The SEC might do it on their own. They're only going to have conference games only anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Raquel, what you think?
I agree with you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, football has just, I think football, we should just skip football this season. That's what I think.
Stop it.
I'm with you, Raquel.
We should skip football. I just because it's crazy right now. I think we should skip football altogether this season. That's where I stand on it. The more and more we talk about it, the more and more we look at what's going on in the news, the more and more baseball players, football players that we're hearing about with COVID. We just can't keep these guys safe.
Yeah, and it's out there, Lee. You see it with Major League Baseball. The NBA and the WNBA are doing what needs to be done. You got to have a controlled environment because you just don't know where people are going to be. You just don't, especially and if you're not going to control the environment, this is what you're going to see. And we've been saying that the whole time. I just don't see how you have a football season and you're able to be able to control the environment in which the players are in once they leave you. You can't. And I just don't see it. And we can kind of bleed this into our final topic about rivalry games being canceled for college football. I mean, this is the effect of football knowing, man, we just gonna pray we can make this happen because we ain't really got nothing in place, but we gonna pray we can make this happen. You know,
That's right.
Lee? What you think, Lee?
Well, look, Marvin, I agree with you. Baseball's testing has been terrible, though. Baseball.
Football has been terrible. What do you mean?
From the outset.
Well, he want football so bad, Raquel.
From the outset, baseball has really lagged behind in the testing. The testing was messed up early on. Look, all I'm going to say is this. As I've always said, and I'll say it again, until you have major outbreaks, football is going to try, Marv. You got teams talking about they're going to start August the 29th now, right?
I know. Alabama's one of them.
They're going to play. And so those early games will tell the tale how if you have a game where both teams get all these COVID cases and stuff, then, they're not going to play. But let's see it first. Let's see it manifest. The NFL is going to play, okay? The NFL is going to play. Now, let me say this, Marv. If I can only get the NFL, I'll drop down on my knees and say, thank you, God. I appreciate it. Wow. At least I got the NFL. Let's move some games to Saturday, and life would be good, okay? But I get what you're saying. It's tough, and I know those rivalry games, Marv, boy, they're going to miss those. You know, South Carolina, Clemson, Georgia Tech, Florida State. That's huge, man. That's huge. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
We're gonna leave it at that. We know Lee won football, so that's where we're gonna leave it at today. But we ran a little bit over with Jordan, but it was worth it. So we got some closing remarks. Raquel, I know you got to jump off, but any closing remarks that you have on today's topics or anything that you'd like to share?
No, I think Jordan set the tone. Super proud of that kid and what's coming. I think his attitude is exactly what every kid's attitude should be as they transition into the next level of sports. It's very important. He's humbled, and more importantly, he's ready to do the work, and he understands that he has to do more at the one position and continue to do what he does at the two position. So I think for young athletes, he's probably the model. This is what you should be saying. This is how you should feel as you transition into the next level. Wanting to work hard, not wanting to go into a situation where you're the big dog going into the door, but yet being able to take time, be patient, learn more about the game that we all love, right? We love the game. And I can agree that when you go in and you have to earn position, it is so much better than walking into the door and you have it because they need. Sometimes I think that hurts players. And I think his choice to go overseas is certainly a good choice for him. So that will be my takeaway today. Young athletes, this is the type of voice you really need in your ear. And if you don't have that, then you need to regroup and do something a little bit different.
Well said. Lee?
Yeah, Marv, last night, I guess Jonathan Isaac, you know about him. He was the Orlando Magic player that didn't kneel. He stood for the national anthem, and he said he didn't feel that wearing the Black Lives Matter shirt and kneeling goes hand in hand with the Black Lives movement. Hey, and I know there's been a lot of pushback and backlash and talk back and forth about that. I'll say this to that situation. Look, man, your conviction is your conviction. If you don't want to kneel for the national anthem or wear a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, hey, I don't have a problem with that. That's your choice. I don't think you should be vilified for that either. I think for me, it's always about, okay, you don't want to do that, then what is your actions? If you say you support Black Lives Matter, what are the actions? And your actions will show what you're about, right? That's what I feel about people. But let me say this also, though. For people who say that them locking arms and wearing the Black Lives Matters shirt and wearing the slogans on the back doesn't make a difference, unity makes a difference. And people standing together, kneeling together, and coming together for a common cause, in my opinion, is a great thing, and it's what this country was founded on. Just think about this. If Martin Luther King and all of our civil rights leaders didn't lock arms at the lunch counters or didn't lock arms crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge, where would we be? That's unity. And so by these people wearing the Black Lives Matter and showing that unity, I think it's a huge thing. And I think I applaud them. And I think it should continue to go on. And if Mr. Isaac doesn't want to kneel, that's fine. It's a free country. And he has the constitutional right not to kneel and the freedoms that I have been in the military for and others have fought for. So that's my call.
All right. Way to end it off, Lee. I think we're going to leave it there. Well said. We've come to the end of another broadcast of After the Buzzer Sports Podcast. For Lee Jones, Ms. Raquel M.R. Thomas. Special shout out to Mr. Jordan Lyons for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. Best of luck moving forward with your professional career. LP always in the background bringing it in. I'm Marvin Orange. We appreciate you guys joining us here for After the Buzzer Sports Podcast, and we will certainly see you next time. Have a great Saturday.
Take care.